and welcome to Newsline TV. My name is Grace and this is Wezesha Biashara show. In this program, we learn how to acquire, manage and preserve wealth so that we can become financially free at the end of it all. In studio, we have Lucy Njine, a financial consultant from Navea Capital. Karibu, Lucy.
Asante sana, Grace.
In the last few episodes, we've been talking about how to acquire wealth. We've looked at the various steps of wealth creation and wealth multiplication.
Exactly.
And we, in our last episode, we said one of the best ways to multiply your wealth is to invest in a pension scheme.
Yes.
Which is very easy and readily available for most of us.
Yes.
Yet we do not know and understand how it works.
Yes.
But it's usually a headache for someone else to multiply your money. As long as you do your contribution, sit back and wait for them to pay you when you're 55.
Yes.
So what are the various kinds of pension schemes that exist?
Yes, Grace, I'm very grateful to be here once again to talk to our viewers about investing in pensions, and to again just emphasize that having a pension scheme or a pension plan is the easiest way to multiply your wealth. Because like we saw, if you're working, you contribute something, your employer also contributes something. And normally they match your contribution. And then we say, even if you are in a place where there's no, for example, you're working in a place where there's no pension scheme, instead of going and setting up a business that you have to have a headache of, do I now leave my employment, I go and now run a business, or what do I do? You can instead put that money in a pension, in an individual pension scheme. Even if you're not employed, you are self-employed, you can still join a private pension scheme. And I want to say, Grace, all these muzungus, we see old ones in Mombasa, spending their life in retirement, they are actually enjoying their pension. When they are working during their active years, they save actively in pension schemes. And so when they retire, you just get your lump sum and you come to Mombasa and live a life of what we call happily ever after. Now, there are various types of pensions. And basically, we are looking at what we call provident fund and a pension plan. Now, what is the difference between a provident fund and a pension fund? A provident means that the amount that you have been putting aside, together with what your employer has been putting aside, once you hit 55, you can walk out with all your money. Even if it's 20 million, it's 30 million, whatever amount, but it is now taxed at that point. Remember, it was exempted from tax when you are contributing, and therefore, the amount of returns is higher because it was not taxed. So at that time now, the money will be taxed. And again, it will be taxed according to the existing scale at that time. So the amount of money that has been accumulated, together with the interest that is earned, will be taxed, and you will be given your balance, whatever it is at the time of retirement. If it is 50 or 55 or 60, whatever it is, your retirement, the retirement time that you had chosen. That is what is called a provident. Now, when you get the lump sum, you go now and invest that money again in the things that you want, or alternatively, you go and keep that money in a bank and just be withdrawing every month some amount that you want. But the other safer method now, the other safer option is what we call a pension plan. And in a pension plan, what happens is when you stop actively working and now you retire, the amount that you had contributed to a pension, together with the interest that has been earned, is converted into a monthly salary or an annual allowance. So you continue getting a salary as though you are working. And that is why you hear people calling themselves permanent and pensionable. Permanent and pensionable means that even the time when you retire, you still have a salary, because your pension is then converted into an allowance that you get every month. And that allowance that you get every month, if you're working for the government, you will get that allowance until you leave this world. But if you're working for the private companies, there's a way it can be structured so that you get it for a certain period of time. You can say, I want to get my pension for like 10 years, or 15 years until you exhaust that amount. So that is the difference. And those are the various options that are available. You can join a provident fund or a pension fund.
All right. So if, because in our earlier program you had said, you can invest in your pension, say like you're 30 years old and say, I want to retire at the age of 40. Within 10 years and you get your money back.
Yes.
So in that kind of a situation, for instance, what would be the safest option to take?
The safest option to take for that kind of case is probably a provident fund, because then when you're 40, you're still strong. You can now go and run a business, and you can use that money to go and set up a business. Or you can then use that money, now you've retired from working, you have the time to go and supervise a construction. You can now go and invest in rentals or in houses for sale and things like that.
Right.
So if you're 40, you are safer going in for a provident kind of fund. Yes.
So we are basically saying that the pension scheme is a way of saving your money.
Yes.
And making sure that you earn interest on it
Mm-hmm.
while you're at it.
Yes.
And your employer contributes if you're
Yes.
employed.
Yes.
If you're not employed, at least you're also saving and you make some money
Yes.
out of it.
Yes.
It's safe.
It's
easy.
safe, it's easy.
Yes.
It's actually the best source of passive income that you can ever have, because someone else is taking the headache of investing for you. You're not the one who's going to take risks to invest in Biashara, to invest in shares that tomorrow you don't know how they are going to perform. But that headache is for someone. And once they have assured you this is the interest that you're going to get every year, that is going to be like that. It is just like the government bonds and the securities, except that now this one you continue contributing over a long period of time.
Right.
Yes.
Wonderful. I think that's very interesting to learn about a new saving where you can actually put in your money and secure your future.
Yes.
That's more like it.
Yes.
You're securing your future, but you're also planning, depending on how well you organize your money.
Yes.
You can use this money for other things, for
Yes.
other investments, so that you can continue to multiply your wealth.
Yes.
And that brings us to the end of our show today. Very insightful and very interesting. Until next time, continue to multiply your wealth.